In March 2022, someone withdrew $625 million from a bridge, and for 6 whole days, nobody even noticed it was gone. It's still one of the largest crypto hacks in history. And here's the strange part. There was no bug in the code, nothing was hacked in the usual sense. The contract did exactly what it was written to do. Today we take apart the Ronin bridge hack. Step by step we rebuild the exact mechanism in code and run the attack ourselves, and we look at the real theft on the blockchain. First, what Ronin even is. Axie Infinity was a huge blockchain game, so popular it needed its own faster chain called Ronin. But a separate chain has a problem. How do you move real money onto it? The answer is a bridge. You lock your Ethereum on one side, and the bridge gives you the same amount on the Ronin side, which means the bridge itself becomes a giant vault, holding everybody's real deposits in one place. And that is exactly the kind of honeypot attackers dream about. Here is the flow. On the left, Ethereum, where the real funds are locked inside the bridge contract. On the right, Ronin, where you spend and play. Deposits are easy, you just send money in. But withdrawals, taking real money back out of that vault, that's the dangerous direction. If anyone could withdraw freely, they'd empty it instantly. So a withdrawal needs permission, and the way Ronin granted that permission is the whole story. So what actually guards the vault validators? And a validator is just a computer run by a trusted party that holds one secret signing key. It's the same idea as the private key from the wallet episode, but here the key means exactly one thing. I approve this withdrawal. Ronin had 9 of these validator keys spread across 9 parties, and the rule was simple. If any 5 of them signed the same withdrawal, the vault released the money. 5 out of 9. So the entire security of $600 million came down to one thing: keeping 5 of those 9 keys out of the wrong hands. Not the code, the keys. Picture the 9 validators, each holding a private key. To move money, 5 of them have to sign the same withdrawal. As long as no single party controls 5 keys, the system is safe, no minority can steal, no one validator can act alone. It's a classic 5 of 9 multisig, and on paper it looks robust. The fatal question is never asked out loud: what if somebody quietly gets their hands on 5 keys at once? So how do you steal validator keys? When there's no bug to exploit, you go after the people. The attackers, North Korea's Lazarus group, posed as recruiters on LinkedIn and approached SkyMove's staff with a dream job at a company that didn't exist. One senior engineer was walked through several rounds of fake interviews just to make it all feel real. Then came the offer as a document, a PDF, promising a very generous salary. But that particular file was booby-trapped with spyware. He opened it on his work laptop, and for a targeted file like that was all it took. The attackers were now inside Sky Mavis's own network, the very infrastructure running the validator nodes. From those servers, they lifted the private keys of 4 validators directly. 4 of 9, taken without breaking a single line of code. They had 4 keys, they needed a 5th, and they didn't even have to steal it. Back in November 2021, to handle a flood of new players, Sky Mavis had been allowed to sign transactions for the 9th validator, the Axie DAO, so users could play for free. And that permission was never switched off. So the access they already had inside Sky Mavis handed them the 5th signature for free. 4 stolen plus 1 forgotten is 5 of 9, the exact threshold. And with 5 valid signatures, the attacker could sign any withdrawal they wanted, including one that emptied the vault into their own wallet. To the bridge, nothing looked wrong. 2 transactions later, 173,000 EETS and $25 million of USDC, $625 million were gone. And this is not a story, it's on the blockchain right now. This is the attacker's address on Etherscan. Look at the labels the world has since pinned on it. Ronin Bridge exploit. OFAC sanctioned, blocked. The red banner spells it out. This address is reported to be involved in a hack targeting the Ronin Bridge. The stolen funds flowed out from here. This is what $600 million of theft looks like from the outside. A perfectly ordinary set of transactions that just happened to be signed by stolen keys. The best way to really understand this is to build it. So let's write a tiny version of that bridge in Foundry, the standard Ethereum toolkit, and run the whole thing ourselves. We'll do it in 3 acts. First, the honest case. 5 real validators approve a normal withdrawal, and it works. Then the attack. An attacker who has stolen 5 keys drains the vault. And finally, the fix, the change that would have stopped 6 days of silence from becoming $600 million of loss. Here's the heart of the bridge, the withdraw function. Read what it checks. It loops through the signatures, and for each one it recovers who signed it and confirms they are a validator. It counts them, and it requires that count to be at least the threshold, 5. If 5 validators signed, it sends the money. That's the entire security. Notice what it can't check, whether the signer is really the person who's supposed to hold that key or an attacker who stole it. A valid signature is a valid signature. The contract has no way to tell the difference. Now we run it with Foundry's test runner. Act 1, honest. 5 genuine validators sign a 10 ETH withdrawal for a user. It passes, the bridge goes from 100 ETH down to 90, the user gets their 10, exactly as designed. Act 2, the attack. This time the attacker holds 5 of the validator keys and signs a withdrawal for the entire 100 Ether straight to themselves. Watch the numbers. The bridge drops to 0. The attacker walks away with everything. Same function, same rules, same valid signatures. The only thing that changed is who was holding the keys, and that was enough to take it off. Now, how do you defend against this when the signatures are real? You can't unsteal a key, so instead you stop trusting any single withdrawal blindly and you slow the big ones down. The fix is 2 pieces. 1, any large withdrawal is time locked. It doesn't pay out instantly. It waits. 2, a guardian, a watchdog, can pause the whole bridge during the waiting window. Remember, the real theft went unnoticed for 6 days. A delay of even a single day, plus someone watching, turns an instant irreversible drain into a slow event you can freeze before a coin leaves. Here's that fix in motion. The attacker's withdrawal still passes the signature check. The keys are stolen, remember, so it always will. But now, because it's a large amount, it doesn't pay out. It goes into a queue behind a time delay. And in that window, the guardian, seeing a suspicious drain of the whole vault, hits pause. When the delay finally expires and someone tries to execute the withdrawal, the bridge is frozen and it refuses. The forged signatures were perfect, and it still didn't matter. And we prove it in the test. Act 3. Same attacker, same 5 stolen keys, same forged withdrawal for the full 100 ETH. It passes the signatures and gets queued. The guardian pauses. We fast forward past the delay and try to execute, and it reverts, bridge paused. Look at the balances. The bridge still holds all 100 ETH, and the attacker got nothing. The exact same attack that drained everything in Act 2 completely stopped, not by better cryptography, but by refusing to trust a single instant withdrawal with the whole vault. So, what do we take from Ronin? That a system can be flawless on paper and still lose everything if the keys behind it aren't safe. Real decentralization matters. No single company should be able to assemble a majority of validators. Old permissions must be revoked. That 5th key was a forgotten leftover. And the funds that matter deserve time locks and someone actually watching them. The Ronin contract wasn't broken. The trust around it was. And that's the part most hacks are really about. Quick recap. The Ronin bridge released funds to anyone with 5 of 9 validator signatures. Attackers stole 5 keys, 4 from the company, a 5th from a permission left switched on, and signed a withdrawal that was completely valid and completely theirs. We rebuilt that exact bridge and watched the attacker drain it from 100 to 0. And then we added a time lock and a guardian, and the identical attack was frozen before it could pay out. No contract bug, just stolen trust and a defense that slows the money down. If breaking down real hacks like this and rebuilding them in code you can run is your thing, that's the whole channel. These take real work to make. If you'd like to support it, the wallet's on screen and there's a Ko-fi link below. Every bit funds the next breakdown. Thank you. That's the anatomy of the Ronin hack. No exploit, just stolen keys and misplaced trust reproduced and defended right in front of you. If you want more of these, we take apart a real hack every day, rebuild it, and show it on the actual chain, so subscribe. Tell me in the comments which hack you want next, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.